good first session of our district huddle?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody learn anything?
Yeah.
Fantastic. I'm hoping that the second session you also learn. So, can everybody in the back hear me just fine?
No.
Yeah, if you can't hear me, don't say anything.
The mic is cutting out.
Is it cutting out?
He was doing that all morning.
Yeah, I was doing that.
It's been that way. Why don't we, can you hear me now?
Yes.
I'll have to be loud. How about that? Oh, look at this. Dave, always on top here. Hey, oh, is it working now? I'm really hoping this works. I want to. Hi.
If you were in speaker to trainer, there's another session that's still going on right now. They would like you back in that room, unless you really want to. Sorry, Sue.
No, I mean, if you want to be in here with me, I understand. Me too.
These will be recorded also for all of you that have registered. We'll make that available to our registrants for the first 60 to 90 days and then open it up to the district after that.
Okay, let's get started on this presentation. I've only got so much time to present. Today I want to talk a little bit about clubs. And how many people here are in a club with 12 or fewer members? Or have ever been in a club with 12 or fewer members? Right? That's a terrible feeling. That's a terrible feeling. And what we want to talk about today is how do we rebuild? What is our role as leaders within the club to make our club stronger? We want stronger clubs. A 12-member club does not feel good. It's not a good place to be. And I think that what happens to clubs is what I would call a spiral. So you start out, and you're a healthy club. You just charter. You have 20 members. Then members kind of drop off. Maybe you're down to 15. And when you get down to 15, then people are like, okay, well, maybe they don't participate as much. And now you're at 12. They take the program. When you get to about 12, that's when things really start getting informal. People don't take it seriously. Did you bring your manual? Are you giving a manual speech? No. Do we have planned speakers every meeting? No. Have we filled up 2 slots every meeting? No. So the club takes on a certain amount of formality. People stop taking it seriously. Then guests come. You have an open house and guests come to see your club. They've heard a lot about this communication and leadership organization, and they want to be a part of it. Well, they come to your club and nobody's taking it seriously, so they don't take it seriously. Either they don't become members because they don't see the value, or they do become members and they become part of the problem. Right? They don't take it seriously, and then pretty soon you're sitting at a table and it's 3 of you and nobody has a speech. And you're down to 8 members, and you're like, is this where we hang it up? Is this where our club folds? That's downward spiral for clubs, and it happens a lot. But there's also a different way. I like to think of it as the upward spiral for clubs. So you start at the same place. You're at 15 members. And then members start taking the program less seriously, and you're starting down that path. And then somebody, you, step in and apply leadership. And you say, at this point, we are not going to let this club fold. This is not a Toastmasters club. This is off-brand. People are not getting value out of this. I want every member in my club to get value out of this program. What can we do? Step one, start taking it seriously, right? Realize that you are paying $7.50 every month. You have to work hard to get that $7.50 back out. But it's a proven program. Every time you apply it, it works. Toastmasters is a proven program. Every time it's applied, it works. So then you get those guests in. They come in. They see people taking this seriously. They see people getting the value out of it. They see people growing. And they say, I want to be a part of that. We all want to be a part of a winning team. And if you are taking it seriously and we have structured agendas and we have a plan and people are giving speeches and we're not at the very start of the meeting going, okay, who's going to do what? Every meeting. They say, these guys have their act together. I want to be a part of that team. That's why I joined. I went to a club. We'll talk a little bit about it later. I went to a club and they had their act together. And I'm like, for 5 to 7 minutes, people are going to shut up and listen to what I have to say. Very excited about it. So new guests visit, and some of them are going to say, this is not the program for me. I don't want to do this. I don't want to become a better communicator. I don't want to do this. But the people who do stay, you get that upward spiral where you keep taking it more and more seriously, and then you get value. And that's what Toastmasters is about, is getting value out of the program. How do we do that? What do we do as leaders to help people get value? Well, I believe we all need 3 things in our lives. Well, outside of all you need is love. We all know that one. But we all need structure, direction, and leadership. I don't care if you're an entrepreneur. I don't care if you're a free spirit. I don't care who you are. We all need this structure, direction, and leadership in our lives. Either we're providing it to others or they're helping to provide it to us. But we all need it. It's a human need. We have to know what is happening. And there's a continuum that I always think of. The structure, direction, leadership continuum. When we think about structure, direction, and leadership in our clubs, there's everything that has come before. So from this moment, before this moment, we have the experience. This is my club experience. This is what I know to be true about this club culture. That's my experience. And then, before I even joined this club, there was this Mike Anderson guy, and he was a member of the club, and he was so amazing, and he did all this stuff. Melissa Florioli, and she was amazing. And she is the stuff of legend. So we've got that culture built on legend and our own experiences. And then, going forward, we have structure, which is what's happening today. We have direction, what's happening tomorrow. And then we have leadership, what's going to happen in the future. That's our role as our leaders within our clubs. So structure. What are we doing now? What is happening right this second? How do we provide structure in a club meeting? Have an agenda. How about that? We'll start with the agenda and have the roles filled out. Making sure that we are working hard to get people to fill those roles ahead of time. And I told you I'd tell you about my club in Hagerstown, my first club, Hagerstown, Maryland. These guys had it down, structure, big time. The club met on Mondays, you had to have your speech title, what speech it was, what manual we're working out of, to the Toastmaster by Thursday prior to the meeting. That's a lot. Like, it was always Thursday afternoon, and I was thinking of what I was going to title my speech. But they forced it. They forced it. And then, if you were the Toastmaster, you had to contact the table topics master, the speakers, to make sure they were going to be there. They had to. It's like they asked you to commit to show up. And guess what? They did. People showed up. Then your general evaluator had to call your evaluation team to make sure they would show up. That is a lot of structure. I don't usually see that in a lot of Toastmasters Club, but it worked for that club culture. It worked for that, and we always had full agendas. Protocol. I talked a little bit about taking things seriously. I've been to a club where a speaker will be talking, and if they say something, the audience will contribute. They'll heckle. They'll jump in with their own thoughts. And that is not the purpose of a Toastmasters meeting, is how to learn how to manage hecklers. It is to build your own communication, your own speaking and leadership style. That's not following protocol. What else is protocol? Protocol is, you've probably heard that idea that we cannot just, hand off the lectern. It's like, all right, I'm leaving, I'm done with my speech. But Toastmaster comes back, oh, hey, great. That's what it means, following the rules, following that protocol, following that structure, offering it to our members. That helps make stronger meetings. Having those trappings of readiness, those banners, those signs out front, notifying people, having those membership packets, having that stuff that says we are a professional organization. We are just as much of a professional organization as PMI, Project Management Institute, as American Society for Quality, as the Realtor organization, any other professional organization. We're not joking around here. We're a professional organization. So have that. Show that through lecterns and schedules. And then understand your club culture, right? Hagerstown, the club culture I described, worked really well with that kind of high level of structure. Maybe your club doesn't. But you might want to consider thinking about adding a little bit more structure if you do find that people are jumping in, that you don't have agendas, that you don't have a plan going forward. Direction. So that's structure. Direction. What is next? Our role as club leaders is to figure out what comes next. How do we do it? We should be talking about, or we should consider talking about what's happening next week. I don't know if you guys know this. There is a huddle that is happening in this very room today. I want you all to come. It's going to be amazing. There'll be a really good first section. There'll be a okay second section. Then we'll go on to an even better third section. Having an active mentoring program. That's one way that we can help provide value to our members. Also, celebrating excellence. Hey, I want to let you know, Kayoko just got her 17th DTM. She's kind of amazing. Let's all give her a big round of applause. Awesome job. I don't know, you're probably only on 16. But making sure we celebrate that. Also, taking on leadership roles. Structure is also about taking on the role. We all it's really nice when people do things for us. It's really nice when I can walk into a meeting, I have no accountability, I don't have to do anything, and everything happens. It's great. You know where you really grow though, is where you say, I'm running this show. I'm running this meeting. This is my watch right now, and I'm going to make stuff happen. So take on those leadership at club level, and then go out and take on other leadership roles outside of your club. That's the direction. What that requires you to do is manage yourself first. I know I've seen people take on leadership positions who can't manage themselves, but they think they can manage other people. Like they're a hot mess, but they're going to make your life better. So it requires self-leadership. That's not to say that people can't make mistakes. Just make sure you fail forward. You will make mistakes. If you're really trying, if you're not failing, you're not probably trying. You're not stretching yourself. You're going to make mistakes. Go ahead and do that. One of my favorite quotes right here is from Dave Barry on leadership. When trouble arises and things look bad, there's always one individual who who perceives a solution as ready to take command. Very often, that person is crazy. I'm looking around this room. I'm seeing a bunch of crazy people right now. Here's how you provide leadership. Help answer the question, where do I go and how do I fit into this program? What's in it for me in the long term? And that's really understanding your membership. That's really understanding your club and setting that vision. We don't like where we are today, or we do like what we are today. Let's figure out where we want to be in the long term. That requires you to be a visionary. That means you also have to be situational. You have to understand your club. And that also puts a lot on you to be accountable. Like, you're responsible. Like, if it is to be, it's up to me. I mean, that's the epitome of leadership. But you can't do it alone. If you think you can lead alone, you're fooling yourself, because really all you're doing is you're walking around while people are watching you do stuff. So let me tell you a short story about my first district director year. I thought I could probably do it all by myself. I don't need committees, I don't need teams, I don't need other people helping me. I got this, get off my back, stop sweating it. Man, not true. Not as nearly as successful as I have been this year. One thing that's changed between 2014 and now is I know how to say, I need help. I need you to help me. And then people come running. They're like, yeah, no, we'll help you. And then by doing that, by having those people come, you build that bench strength, that pipeline of leadership that we've been talking about all year. Building that pipeline, helping, so you're not leader forever. So Leonard's ready to take on that mantle. How do we build a strong club? There are 5 different inputs into it. 1, engage our members. Our members are our greatest resource, right? They're not things that we check off. They're not checks that we send in twice a year. They are important, and they're here to grow, and we want to make sure we engage them in their own growth. We want to make sure that we understand our club culture. I've hit that like 17 times. And then the greatest underused resource that we have in Toastmasters, a free resource. Anyone want to guess what it is? Number 3, Moments of Truth. Moments of Truth. If you want to make your club better, I would start by asking questions. That's just me. Moments of Truth leads you through what questions can we ask? Like, how are our meetings? How are these going? It provides a forum for you to really engage with people and say, hey, what do you think? What do we want to do differently? But that Moments of Truth, key aspect. That's how you build your Distinguished Club program. I don't know if you've heard, we've got an incentive around Distinguished Club program. So if you get in your Distinguished Club program, do you remember what it is, Teresa?
Yep, $100, 5 out of 10 goals by the end of December.
Wow. Sounds pretty good. 5 out of 10 goals, $100. Distinguished Club program. Distinguished Club program, DCP goals. So these are the 2 CCs, 4 Pathways Level 1s, those things. All those are inputs. And then you develop your Distinguished Club plan. Like, what are we going to do? And here's one thing that I've seen in my professional career and I've seen in Toastmasters. When you figure out what you want to do, write that down. Like, don't keep it in your head, write it down, and then you can share it with people, and they're like, oh my God, David, that's such a great idea. Or, hey, I would like to tweak it a little bit like this. And then you've got them engaged, and we're talking about it. And then, when your area director shows up for your area director visit, you're like, have you seen our Distinguished Club plan? And they're like, all my questions are answered. Thank you for your time. You are an amazing club. But the DCP is an input, but it's really the feedback loop. It really tells you how you're doing. So that's where you get the results. That's how you know it's working. Distinguished Club Program. It's an input to the planning process, but it's not the only one. We talked about the other ones. Unfortunately, it doesn't tell you in advance how you're doing. Like, you'll do your Distinguished Club plan, and then you'll get this lagging indicator a couple months later that says, hey, we've got 3 new members or 4 new members. We've got 2 new CCs and 4 level 1 pathways, level 1s. But it is a feedback loop that tells you how you're doing. So Toastmasters, and when I sell this to corporate clubs, I'm like, it's got a built-in feedback loop. We know if this is a strong club. Are you getting your money's worth? Check it out. Now it's value. How do you help your club? How do you help your club? Step 1, show up. Like, go to a meeting. I know this sounds crazy, and Lisa's going to chastise me because I'm a member of North Dodge and I work in Cedar Rapids, and so it's hard to get to the club meeting, but showing up is always important. My boss used to say, hey, you know what the first 90% of your job is? Showing up. The other 10% is what you do when you get here. So showing up, very key. Then show people what you want by modeling that behavior, right? If you look like you're taking it seriously, they'll take it seriously. If you're working out of the manual, they'll work out of the manual. If you're giving an effective evaluation, they'll want to give speeches. If they can see growth, they'll want, but you need to model it. Show them what it's like. And you're like, yeah, well, I didn't bring my DTM, don't time me. Yeah, I know, all right? I've said it. But model the behavior. 5 to 7, make it a 5 to 7. Lead that moments of truth. Use that module. Conduct an open house. We have a whole team that's about open houses. We're here to help. We're the district. We're here to help. We're here to support clubs. So conduct an open house. We did an open house at North Dodge. I always use this same story. At one time it was when we were down in the dumps, and we had 5 people show up from within the company. We signed for the 5th one had been a previous member. But we signed them up and we did an open house. It's a great approach. Let's say you're one of those clubs, you're struggling. You have 12 or fewer members. Club coach, request a club coach. We have a whole program to support that. Contact Jennifer Snook, our club growth director, and she will help you with that. Get out of your club. Get out of your club. What do I mean? Quit? No. No. Go to an area contest. Offer to be a judge in an area contest. They need them. Be an area director. Go and get out of your club. There's a whole world outside of the club. You would be surprised. I never got as much out of Toastmasters until I got out of my club, and then I was like, holy cow, there's so many more cool things to do here. Consider meeting frequency. And when I say that, oftentimes when clubs are struggling, they think, oh, we'll go down to once every 2 weeks, once a month. No, go the other way. Have more frequent meetings. Give people more opportunities. You're like, yeah, but I don't have speeches for that. Get 3 of your best friends in the club and make sure they have speeches. And so you've got one every week. You, then me, then it goes on. So consider meeting frequency. But I'm telling you, going backwards every 2 weeks is not nearly as good as going forward every week. Promote the club through banners and paraphernalia, and then, most importantly, ask for help. We had one, Melissa, legend. We had Melissa who came in and she's like, hey, we're going to have speeches. And I'm going to apply leadership right now. And we're going to do it, and we're going to get it done. And she said, and you're going to help me. And so we did. But you have resources. Here they are. They're in your slide deck. There's manuals out there. They cost nothing. You can click through them. You can print them off. So you have that. You have club coaches. Reach out to Jennifer. But most important, if you get anything out of this club, Club 101, it comes down to this. Never, never, never give up. Never give up. Don't give up on your club. Don't give up on your members. You guys got this. Any questions? I see I'm right on time. All right. If you do have any questions, please reach out to Teresa, me, Jennifer, our immediate past, our financial manager, Sherry, our administration manager. Reach out to your division directors, your area directors. We only care about building stronger clubs or building new clubs and helping you guys achieve excellence. Thank you.